the question? Sorry. Sufis. Okay, Sufis. Okay, that's a big subject. You know, the problem with Sufism is the term Sufism covers a broad range of things. There are some Sufis who are not Muslim. They actually say that Sufism was before Islam, and that's actually true. It's actually true. Okay? So Sufism is really a form of mysticism. And mysticism claims that the way to know God is through experience, right? Is that you don't know God through studying and so on and reading, but you know God through experience. So Muslim Sufis would claim that what is important is to do lots of worship, lots of prayers, lots of fasting, okay, lots of, live a very ascetic, simple life that is free from, worldly trappings, to make a lot of dhikr, a lot of remembrance of God. Okay, so this is what by and large Sufis would claim. Okay, however, actually, what the Prophet Muhammad taught and what Jesus taught and what you can find in the Quran is that no, knowledge is very, very important. Indeed, the Quran says, Biyu Rabbani'un. Rabbani'un means scholars. And it's an appeal to everybody, everyone, to have knowledge. Those who know are not like those who do not know. And knowledge, as the Prophet ﷺ said, comes from studying. So there are two extremes here. There's the extreme of the people who study and seek knowledge just for the sake of information. That is not right. Knowledge in Islam is studied so that one can act upon it. But how do we worship God? How do we remember God? How should we behave as believers in God? This is only going to come through knowledge, and the deeper your knowledge, the deeper your study of the Quran, then the more and the greater your appreciation of that. That is also therefore matched by worship, prayer, fasting, remembrance of God, and so on and so forth. So there is a balance here. Sufism, unfortunately today, has gone to an extreme. It's gone to an extreme. And that's the problem with many things. Just like there are some people who concentrate on fighting. Fighting, you know. Yes, Islam has some rules about fighting. Yes, the early Muslims did have to fight in order to fight for their survival and defend themselves and defend their land. But then some people imagine that this is all that Islam is about, this is the most important thing, and then they end up doing crazy things like, you know, killing women and children and all sorts of things that are forbidden by the religion, and they think this is something the religion is teaching. This is the problem. This is extremism. Much of what is Sufism is also a type of extremism, okay? But it's in another direction, okay? Where they have gone to extremes in asceticism, in, you know, making dhikr and even inventing things and doing crazy things like, you know, dancing around and twirling and, you know, getting to ecstatic states. And, you know, like if you could imagine the Prophet Muhammad and his companions, right? Twirling around in the masjid and getting to, you know, ecstatic states. And this is not the religion. The religion is the beautiful middle way, you see. So we should not be extremists at all. In fact, the Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, avoided that. So if by Sufism we mean to remember God, to live a simple life, to do worship, alhamdulillah, there's nothing wrong with that. But we do have to be aware of people who call themselves Sufis, but they sell another extreme version of Islam. We really need to tread the middle path, and that is the Sirat al-Mustaqim, and that is the way that leads to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bi-idhnillah, jazakallah khair, may Allah reward you.